All right, welcome everyone. My name is Marko Lehtimäki. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of the company. And today we have some very exciting big announcements to make. But the theme of today is about enabling the innovators. Donut Lab is all about reimagining electric mobility. And we have created a next-generation technology platform for building electric vehicles from cars to drones, boats, and even robots. Our platform is a hardware platform that has best-in-class components, from motors to batteries to control units, everything that makes the core of your electric vehicle. We have performance and size variants that allow you to build your vehicle almost like from Lego blocks. And then we have the vertical integration of all of these components to make sure that they work perfectly together. This platform comes with superior performance. With our components, you get more torque, more power, more range than with any other components that you could buy. On top of that, our components provide the lowest bill of materials relative to the performance that they provide. And finally, because of many things that I will not go into this presentation, our platform also increases the quality and safety of your vehicle. And finally, because they are all pre-integrated and designed to work together, through this platform, you get accelerated development of your next generation electric vehicles. We are already working with a lot of OEMs, from the largest companies in the world, across industries, from automotive to construction equipment to elevators to all various types of things that need these kinds of components, from very small firms to the biggest corporations in the world. However, hardware is only half the story. And today we are talking about the other half, the yin to the yang of what we have already shipped. And that is software, which glues everything together. And until today, in the EV industry, it's been broken. What do we mean when we say it's broken? There's many aspects. I will highlight a couple of them. One of them is that it takes forever. Vehicle programs, the software development side, it takes forever. Everybody works in silos. You have your motor control unit teams, you have your battery management system teams, you have your vehicle control unit teams. You have all different types of people using different types of tools with different types of programming languages, working in silos, hoping that one day it will all magically work together. There is a lack of continuous and integrated system-level testing, which then means that we find bugs on the physical prototypes, both for the control logic as well as human-machine interface. We have slow and very expensive iteration cycles, because every time we make change, we need to flash it on a chip, take it on a racetrack, and see if now everything works perfectly together. The other thing is the inability to test properly edge cases. Rare failures, extreme weather, dangerous scenarios that are hard to replicate. And finally, the reuse is almost non-existent across the companies of vehicle logic and all the software that we build. It's just too hard, and it's not fun. Modern EVs are really almost like software-defined robots, but we build them like they are old mechanical cars. These methodologies are decades old, and they need to change, and they will change today. I'm proud to introduce something we've been working on for a long time, and I'll let the video speak for itself, introducing DonutOS by Donut Lab. I'm so excited to go into this. So, DonutOS really changes the way how EVs are built. And the first thing I want to talk about is what we call the digital twin 2.0. We all probably have heard the term digital twin. In automotive industry, I call it the digital distant cousin, because it doesn't really resemble the real physical device. It may have the appearance of the physical device. It may have some weight distribution calculations that it's exactly like the physical device, but it doesn't really replicate the behavior of the physical device. It doesn't run the same software as the physical device. It doesn't really allow you to know, how does my vehicle really work? And that's going to change today. So Donut Lab Digital Twin 2.0 means these things. First of all, it's a high-fidelity vehicle with all the Donut platform components, from the batteries, from the motors, from all the hardware that we built, and of course, using any third-party components that are part of the platform. You can then test the vehicle in the real world digitally. But the most important thing of the entire platform and everything that we are talking about today is that it runs exactly the same code, including how the motor is controlled, how the battery management is done, how the vehicle, traction control, every single aspect of your vehicle. The digital twin 2.0 runs the same logic as your physical vehicle. And this really changes everything, and I will demonstrate throughout the presentation how it is so. It's also true for the human-machine interface. Those touch screens that you use to control the vehicle and understand how fast you're driving, all of those things, they are also running the same code in the digital twin. We have simulated all the communication from analog voltage signal to CAN bus communications to make sure that internally in the simulated world, the current is running through the cables and you can control it and create the logic around it. Then there's the digital version of all the third-party cameras, sensors, and radars that provide you the ability to bring into the equation the real sensory data, and that goes into your digital twin 2.0. So what DonutOS does is that it collapses the EV development workflow into one continuous loop where you can design, simulate, and validate the full vehicle behavior end-to-end before a physical prototype of your vehicle even exists. So you can do 90% of the vehicle program without having a physical prototype. The future really belongs to the innovators, and we really want to enable you all here at Slush. I know there's many innovators in the room right now. So let's go into DonutOS and what it's made of. There's 4 core pillars. The first one is called Studio. In DonutOS Studio, you can design the whole blueprint of your vehicle's E&E system and architecture and define all the software logic that makes your vehicle work. In the builder, we take it to 3D model where all these components that you have chosen to use will be placed in proper places. And the simulator, where you can then test your vehicle in physics simulated world, running all the same logic and all the same apps. And then the inspector that allows you to analyze all the telemetry data, sensory data, and even compare the behavior of the digital twin to the physical vehicle. Let's start from DonutOS Studio. As I said, DonutOS Studio allows you to design the blueprint visually. So it all starts from selecting the components from the DonutOS library, including the control units, the motors, the LEDs, the buttons, the sensors, anything that you want to use in your vehicle. It's all drag and drop and with in-light guidance to make sure that you know where to find everything that you need. After that, you can then connect everything with virtual cables, buses, and choosing signal types to make sure that the communication between these devices works as it should. And through all of this, you ultimately design the full electrical and electronic architecture of your vehicle with drag and drop. You can literally design the entire E&E architecture and system with all the parameters in an afternoon. And after you've done this, then we go into the building of the logic. One thing to highlight is that there's no code in this platform. You will not need to write a single line of code to create everything that makes your vehicle work. And not just work, but makes it the best in the industry. So you can compose logic through visual state machines and logic builder, where, as you can see, you'll never see the code. It's just going through the interface that provides you intuitive controls to build everything that you want to control about your vehicle. This includes modeling the behavior of a motor, of sensors, of your battery packs. And finally, built-in reusability. So all the things that you build once, you can use in other prototypes and other vehicles. So you never have to repeat yourself. With DonutOS Studio, you can also test everything you built in a simulated environment where, whether it's a LED light blinking because of certain amount of current coming through the cables, or whether it's the camera or the GPS sensor reacting to movements, all of these things can be simulated right there on the canvas where you build them while you're editing. And then you can set, of course, limits and the behavior boundaries for all these components and inject faults to see what happens when the cable is broken or when something unexpected happens with the system. Hardware in the loop. We even enable you to swap any virtual component with real hardware, just connecting to the CAN bus with a USB and being able to test that the motor works exactly as it should on the table in the workbench. And this allows you to validate the interfaces and the timing of the entire system. Okay, that's Studio. Then let's go into DonutOS Builder. In the Builder, you really build first the core of your vehicle, and so it starts from choosing what kind of vehicle you want to build, from cars to boats to trucks and drones and robots, even motorcycles, whatever you want to create. And after selecting the type, you can then define the virtual chassis with all kinds of components that make it exactly like it should be. After building the chassis, you can then assemble everything together, including the motors and the batteries, the ECUs, all the various components that you wanted to use. You now need to find a physical place for them, including the sensors. Where is the camera located? Where are the lights? How about the buttons that you need to press? Even wiring up buses and power cables visually to make sure that the latency is right, dependent on the length of the cable that you need. And finally, you get to fine-tune everything that you create with precise placement of components and with the ability to adjust every single parameter of every single component that you have in your model. And to show you a little bit more, I'd love to invite on stage Olli Burke to show the live demo of Builder.
Hello, everyone. I'm Olli from Donut software team, and I'm like to say first that one of the key design principles we had for the Donut Builder was that it should be as easy to use as building with Legos. So today I'm here to demonstrate you how anyone can create a vehicle with Donut Builder without need to go too deep into logic or any engineering levels. Just let's start. First, from a library, we have a different kind of components like donut motors. And let's start making the chases. So we first start tracking the frame into there. And next, we change the size so we can fit more batteries into it. And from there, we chase a wheel frame, put it to the back of the car, and next into front of the car, just by clicking it into the place. And next, let's choose the wheel rigs. Let's connect them together. It will automatically mirror the settings on the another side. And let's make the important part, the donut motor there, where we can choose different kind of rims and tires for there to change, and what kind of motor present we want to use for it. So let's choose high power for the front. And let's do the same for the back as well. So let's put the wheel rig directly there, and let's choose the donut SUV motor just to place it there back. And let's put a little bit lighter powered preset in there, and the rims and the tires as well. And now we have the chassis complete. Let's start adding the battery modules into the car. So just same way, we just simply drag them into the place which is defined in the chassis frame part. Just like this. All right. So next, let's put some kind of sensors into the car. We have a LiDAR sensor there. We just drag it into the front part of the car and click it into the place, and also for the back. And from there, we just need to add body to the car, just like this. Put it into the center, and then we can change a few parameters to make it, raise it and make it a little bit bigger. Just like this. And now we have a fully drivable car which uses actual real-world counterparts in a simulated world. And from here, we could go into the check out how the logic works. We could make some kind of changes here if we need. But for fun, we just click on the simulator and let's try how the car itself works. So here, we can just start driving.
Thank you, Olli.
Thank you.
Besides the car, of course, you can build other vehicles. So I'm just demonstrating here couple of things about building drones and even boats. And all of the sizes and dimensions and what kind of battery packs you want to put in there and everything is fully customizable. And you can even bring in your own CAD designs to use the real world components if you don't want to use the built-in libraries. So let's talk about DonutOS Simulator. So this is the place where you then go do physics-based vehicle testing in a virtual environment. Right here, we are actually driving here in Pasila, so the roads may look familiar. And it allows you to test every single aspect of your car on the real roads. We are doing high-fidelity vehicle physics. Here we're looking at the suspension settings, and you have all the parameters in the world that you would want to adjust to make the drive exactly perfect for your vehicle. As mentioned, all the software that runs inside, for example, this truck prototype right here, is the same that will then finally run inside that truck when you build it the first time and drag and drop the logic into the physical vehicle. We even have the Verge bike here without the rider, but rest assured, the vehicle physics are calculating the rider being on top of that vehicle. The simulator also has full support for simulating the cameras and the radars and sensors and everything in real time. So as you drive, you will be able to look at the behavior, what happens in the CAN bus and in all different data streams coming from the car. But where can you drive? Well, the simulator brings us to the world-scale digital replicas, where we have high-fidelity 3D environments of the whole world. So you can go and see how long does the battery last when you start driving 101 from San Francisco towards LA. And then, after testing, realize that I'll add one more battery pack, and then I'm good to go. You can literally take your vehicles everywhere. Here we are again, looking at our beautiful Pasila here in Helsinki with a drone and seeing how everything looks from the high up there. You can change conditions of the world in real time, from climate, including snow, rain, heat. You can change the visibility and time of day to make sure that the lights are working exactly correctly, change all the road surface conditions, and even bring in traffic and edge cases. And finally, you get to test and validate HMI. So the HMI integrates with simulated CAN bus of the vehicle, so it works exactly the same as the real physical HMI will. So that includes the data that is displaying, whether it's G-forces or speed of your vehicle, but also it allows you to control the behavior of the vehicle exactly the same way too. So when you change the drive mode, it changes in the digital twin. You can test and iterate throughout the UI, and really for the first time in a digital world, validate the entire vehicle experience. When you need to trigger some sensors, you need to introduce errors, you need to see what happens when the battery cells go out of balance or the pack is too hot. What happens? You can go and trigger these faults and errors. And also you can compare the ground truth of what happens in the digital twin and compare that to your sense of fusion that you are testing. The last component of DonutOS is the inspector. And it's really a component that provides operational clarity for everything you do. It includes the real-time telematics dashboard that allows you to fully customize what you want to see, to understand all the behavior of your vehicle through the points of data. It can stream radars, cameras, and all other things that you will need. And one of the interesting aspects is that the same inspector works with your virtual vehicle, but also with your physical vehicle. So you can use the same tools and compare, is everything working as expected with my prototype, or is there something wrong that I've done because there's variation from what happens in the digital twin. And this gives you one workflow to work both on the prototypes on the racetrack as well as in the distributed environment digitally. And to give you a live demonstration of the inspector, I'd like to invite on stage our friend Ari Nikula from the software team.
All right, thank you. So yeah, I'm Ari from the software team, giving you a quick demo of the inspector. The inspector is basically split into 3 different modes. I'll go through them one by one. Let's first add some sensors onto the car in the builder, basically where Olli left off. And then when we're done, we can just jump in to the simulator. All right, so the first layer is simulation time telemetry, which kind of means that we can just overlay all of our data from all of our sensors everywhere in the vehicle straight onto the simulator, and that way get instant feedback of what we're doing. Here's the demo of the LiDAR working, colliding with points and giving you a readout. And here, carefully driving through the Pasila Tripla shopping mall poles, not crashing into anything. Obviously, this data can be used then to create alerts in the vehicle for nearby objects and stuff like that. Next, we have some more detailed motor readouts. We have everything from newtons to kilowatts to voltage consumption, all in real time. And we can check that out. And then some more about the torque vectoring. These motor commands filtered through the torque vectoring in real time, so we don't get full power all the time. And then wheel slip that controls the torque vectoring. It's all very clear. Then some physics debugging stuff. Basically anything you would want to get. Then the next layer is the telemetry server, which means that we can actually stream all that data that we just saw onto a server and then display it basically anywhere. This is a web browser interface that's totally customizable with whatever data you want to display. Here we have some speed, RPM readouts, then obviously the GPS. We can also isolate views to give a better, kind of more detailed look here at the GPS stuff. Again, running down Pasila. Also, we can visualize the radar again on the web browser, so display anywhere of the same data, different kind of visualization. So everything is customizable. We can also do native apps. So this is running on Qt, so we can do Android, iOS, desktop, laptop, website, whatever, even embedded hardware directly on the vehicle to display the exact data that we want. And here's one more view of the data from Qt. And on the right there, you can see the actual readout. So there's a lot of data coming in all the time. The final layer is the data recording layer, which means, again, that all the data that we just saw can be recorded, as you can see on the top right here in the browser view. So we can record the data of a session, then stop the recording, then kind of go through all the data in real time, see what's up, what happened. We can finally save it to the database, and then we can go and read the data from a couple of sessions like we do here, and then just check out what's up, compare different data sets. This can be from a simulator, this can be from the real vehicle. Because of the data is all the same, the logic is all the same, we can kind of be confident that we always get the comparable data. And that's the inspector. Thank you.
Thank you, Ari. That's exciting. So how about AI? Everybody's talking about AI. I'm sure there's AI in this room right now. So, of course, we will also be using AI throughout the platform and providing all the benefits that it can provide. The reason why you didn't see that on the demo is some of this stuff is still on the roadmap. But there's many things upcoming, and I want to highlight a couple of them. First is code development with AI assistance. If you don't know how to do the perfect torque vectoring or the perfect traction control or the perfect whatever it is that you want to build, you will be able to ask the system, could you please help me build this? What's the industry best practice? What should I take into consideration? How do I make sure that it's 26262 compliant? Everything from the safety and security standpoint can be worked together through with an AI assistant. The other thing that is upcoming is AI agents test driving your vehicle. Of course, it's fun to go and drive for the first 1,000,000 kilometers, but at some point, you don't want to go and test the car yourself every time you make a change. So imagine having given exact instructions of whether you want them to race the car or whether you want them to drive in the middle of New York with the real traffic and try to get from point A to point B, or whether you have an exact simulated situation that happens on the road where you want them to go and see what happens when a reindeer jumps in the middle of the road or whatever happens. And imagine that every time you make a small change to how something works, within a couple of minutes, hundreds of thousands of kilometers will have been driven by AI agents in the server. And it tells you everything works perfect. No faults detected. There's also a lot of things that you need to fine-tune in vehicle development and in software. Things that may take months and months to fine-tune, to get it exactly right. And we don't need to be doing that fine-tuning ourselves. We can let another set of AI agents fine-tune all the control parameters that map the behavior of the car in a closed loop then with those who drive the car. So instead of months and months of work going on racetracks, testing everything, you can let the system figure it out in a couple of minutes to tell you what are exactly the right parameters for your vehicle with this weight, with this aerodynamics, with this everything. And of course, many, many, many other things. So we're just getting started here. So that is DonutOS. So what DonutOS makes possible is development cycles of software shrinking from years to months on the software side, but of course also shrinking the hardware development cycles together with the software platform. It means that teams of any size can now build highly sophisticated vehicles. And of course, the large OEMs can go and validate the real behavior of their vehicle before committing to hardware. And we at Donut Lab, we guarantee that when you have built your vehicle in the digital world, tested and validated it, and then you buy those components from your bill of materials that show up in the builder, and you put them on a chassis that is equivalent to what you built on, that your vehicle will work exactly the same. And this really changes the way how vehicles are built. But not only are you able to design a vehicle with DonutOS, but because of our components, because of Donut Platform, because of the world's most efficient and most torque, most power combining motors and batteries that take you further than any other packs, with Donut Platform, the vehicle that you build in DonutOS will actually outperform anything else out there, including the largest companies' products. As I said, you get more torque, more power, more range, more compute at the same or lower cost than what you would be paying even at the highest volumes. So in this way, Donut Platform and DonutOS together, they democratize electric vehicle development. They enable the innovators. And to tell you more about this, I'd like to invite on stage Lauri Laukkanen, our Chief Marketing Officer.
As we've heard today, it really is the most exciting time ever to be founding a new EV company. The whole playing field is changing and shifting. You could even call it the golden age of creating new EV companies. One of the reasons why it is the golden age is that when you're starting with a clean slate, you don't have the legacy baggage of the larger OEMs. You don't have the technology choices of the past, and you can jump straight into the future. And with our DonutOS software and the Donut platform, we come halfway and meet you with your bold ideas. The performance that Marco talked about, all of the things that you heard about DonutOS, that's everything that you need to build that bold idea. And as we've seen, the speed of iteration, going from 0 to 1, just got a lot faster. And maybe even for the first time, it is now realistic to be building something that's on par or even better than the legacy OEMs have built and can build, while having those limited resources. And of course, faster go-to-market than ever before, having these readily integrated components and the software built on DonutOS. But even in this golden age, scale-ups, startups still face challenges. One of the big ones is the unit economics that are upside down at initial low volumes. So when you're starting out, you're not ordering 100,000 motors, you're ordering 5, 10, 100, and you're paying a lot more than those large OEMs buying hundreds of thousands. And that could even kill you as a startup, as your revenue starts, but the margins, they don't cover the burn. And what this means, of course, is it slows down the growth of that one startup, that one scale-up, and the whole industry. It's just upside down. And we wanted to do something about it. And we did. And today we're introducing the Global Innovators Program. What is Global Innovator Program? It has 3 key benefits that we are offering to the startups and scale-ups that join. First one is tackling the major thing. We have special low volume pricing for the entire Donut platform, including the motors, the battery packs, the control units, DonutOS, everything that you've heard about, everything that you know Donut Lab from. Now, ordering those few motors is actually affordable. You're getting the same pricing as those high volume orders from the big OEMs. Second, yes, you might be considered a smaller customer, but we want to make sure we support you. There will be white glove service from our A-team, our best engineers, our best minds, helping and supporting you as you build on the Donut platform. And finally, we have early access to the Donut technology. So new motors, new battery packs, anything you hear from us, you'll be the first to be using them, including DonutOS that we've heard about today. The program has 2 tiers. There's the basic tier, which is open for any eligible startup and scale-up out there. What does it mean? If you're a company that's under 5 years old and you're building EVs on the Donut platform, welcome. This is the program for you. And the second tier is an invite-only VIP program for the most promising companies. The basic one, anyone can apply. This one, we'll call you. And today is an exciting day as we will be announcing the first Global Innovator VIP here on stage today. I'll let the video talk about it first, and then let's go into it.
Thanks, Lowry. I'm Daniel Davey, CEO of Longbow Motor Car Company. We design, engineer, and manufacture featherweight electric sports cars in the United Kingdom. That car was designed, engineered, and manufactured in the United Kingdom. So go Europe. Our mission is to quickly make all cars lighter and better for humans and our planet. We do this by simplifying the design, engineer, and manufacturing process. We don't compromise. We focus on beauty, human connectedness, and authenticity, not stats, and we add lightness through partners, through decentralization, and relentless execution. We don't build empires that procrastinate. Larry talked about 0 to 1. 0 to 1 is hard. Software, those barriers are dropping, right? People are able to innovate quicker than ever before, but hardware, especially automotive, remains hard. Automotive is the largest hardware industry on the planet. It's nearly twice the size of the consumer electronics industry at nearly $3 trillion. And the incumbents in those industries are huge. They are large empires that procrastinate. And a vehicle program for a traditional manufacturer takes years, and it seems to be getting longer. But we move at the speed of lightness. So we went from a render to a fully dynamic demonstrator on a ground-up chassis in 6 months. That's a third of the time that it would take a traditional manufacturer, if that's in the East or in the West. It's the quickest it's ever been done. And that car is a ton lighter than the only other electric sports car on the planet. And we're going to start manufacturing in 12 months. That's the speed of lightness, right? But we're only getting started. From here, we move forward. We don't look backwards. So the way traditional manufacturers, the technologies, the processes, the way they build cars, that's not how you build cars today. And it's not how you build cars in the future where it's accelerating. When we look at the future, we look at donut technologies, starting with in-wheel motors, you can do things you've never been able to do before, right? Your energy density, your weight, your cost, your efficiency, your space that you open up in the car. No one's explored that before. And the driving dynamics, like how that feels in the wheel, which is what we're very focused on, is something that no one's ever done before. Because there's a shift in the industry that's happening, right? Those who move at the speed of lightness, those who innovate, change, adapt every phase of the design, engineering, manufacturing process, who look forward, and those who don't. So we're very excited to be partnering with Donut Lab, integrating their technologies in our high-performance vehicles. Because hardware's hard, automotive is harder, but we live in a software-defined world, right? A software-defined vehicle. And the best cars in the planet now are a symbiosis of software and hardware. So if we want to deliver on the promises we've made to our reservation holders, if we want to deliver sports cars with hypercar power-to-weight ratios, and if we want to deliver those cars faster than any car company in history, we need to do it with the best partners. And the best partners are hardware and software, right? That is how we quickly make cars that are lighter and better for humans and for the planet. Thank you.
That is kind of a prime example of what global innovators are all about. What Longbow is doing is mind-blowing. And we are so delighted to be able to partner and support them in everything that they do with our technology platforms. I'm even showcasing here the Longbow vehicle driving Pasila roads. So you can imagine how it is to define the software for real vehicles using what we have heard about today. The acceleration of the speed of innovation is something that we really want to bring to everybody who wants to build EVs. So let's talk about the EV innovation ecosystem a little bit. When we come to Slush, we are here with all the buzz that is happening in AI and software and all these other things. But when we look at electric vehicles, we don't have similar events. We have some networking events regionally, but when talking about how to take something from 0 to 100, where can you find the right funding partners? Where can you find mentorship for the things that you need along the way? Where can you go to event that is focused on EVs and pitch your new product? We haven't seen any of this in Europe. And today we are excited to partner with a new EV-focused non-profit association that is doing something about this. And I'd like to invite on stage a person who's with the mission to build a global EV entrepreneurship society with Frontier Mobility, Michał Kupial. Welcome.
Hello. So, Frontier Mobility. In brief, we are EV Entrepreneurship Society. And as all you know, there are many entrepreneurship societies around universities in Europe. But none of them is specifically focused on EVs. And this is our goal, to be focused just on EV, also on the global scale. What does it mean in practice? For the coming year, we are planning recurring events happening every quarter that will allow to meet, discuss, and share experience and expertise between different companies. At fall 2026, so roughly around a year, we will launch annual product launch and startup conference. During the year, we'll also have speaker events, pitching events, and also we will be present on site events at major conferences around Europe. And our goal is to simply connect entrepreneurs with industry experts and provide funding opportunities through our network and through our partners. And when it comes to membership, it is meant for founders and co-founders of EV startups, but also there's a space for students and people interested in the industry. Our partners are industry players, universities, and all the other related organizations. And in 2026, we are going to have a digital platform to be announced. And if you're interested, you can check our website, but also I'm happy to talk with you after this happening and we can go in depth about our organization.
Thank you, Miku. And for those part of the Global Innovators program, there will be free membership to Frontier Mobility, which means full access, free access to all events and visibility throughout the network and more. We already know that DonutOS will help create thousands of new EV startups. And we are committed to support the ecosystem in every possible way. And this means working together with universities, working together with startup hubs, accelerators, providing our platform to everyone and maximizing really the success of the best companies in our ecosystem. And so I'm very excited to announce that there's a new accelerator program specifically for EV startups, focusing on startups building on the Donut platform. And I'd like to invite on stage Kyle Uckerman from Glaze.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with all of you innovators. I'm a hardware founder myself, and I know how difficult that journey is. When you go from having this grand vision and grand idea, but now you're like, well, how do I actually build something? How do I show something physical to people? There's not much out there. Maybe there's a few basic maker spaces, but really when you're trying to do sophisticated, real-world hardware development, there's nothing there. And we've seen that need and that gap, and we're hoping to help fill it. Glazeworks exists to accelerate the most ambitious startups in EV, robotics, and AI-native hardware. So by AI-native hardware, we mean anything from AI-enabled wearables, smart drones, smart vacuum cleaners, whatever. Fill in the gap. We want to talk with you. We're launching early next year a 1,100 square meter space in Tallinn, Estonia, for those who don't know where Tallinn is. And it's a space that has everything you need under one roof to go from an idea for a product to scale in the same place. We're building out an advanced fabrication studio, which will have a 3D printing farm, all the advanced machining tools you need, everything to do PCB, manufacturing, and prototyping, as well as a dedicated extended reality review area. So you can pull in your 3D CAD designs, review it in real time with your team, make notes, make changes, and really accelerate that production process of your concept. It's important that your company looks good, so we're also launching in that space a creative studio, which will have our own dedicated Glazeworks podcasting setup, where you can be on that podcast, help promote your company, as well as even launch your own podcast out of there. We have batteries included, so everything for video, audio, photography will be there available on site to make sure that you can produce the best content for your company and really shine when you speak to your potential customers and investors. Of course, there is office space. We want it to be a very easy fit for anybody that comes there. So everything's fully equipped. So you just show up, bring your team, and start building. For smaller teams, there's also co-working spaces and hot desks. Finally, on site, of course, we have a bunch of meta services, which includes access to mentors, some that are in the space itself, experts from all different domains of technology and development that can really help you refine and structure your product as you're developing it. And then in-house, we have Venture Bonsai, our fundraising partner that is there to help you refine your pitch, get access to investors, and really help you put the best foot forward. Applications are now open for 10 startups that are planning to build on the Donut platform. You can go and apply at glazeworks.com. And I'd really encourage you, even if you just have an idea, but you're not really down that road, apply anyways. Like maybe you have something so great and so cool that we want to invite you to join us at Glazeworks anyways. Please feel free to share that with your friends who are building EV stuff or robotics or drones or anything. Let them apply. We'd love to speak with you. That's it. Thanks, Marko.
Awesome, thank you. So availability and timeline. Global Innovators Program is available today, and you can sign up at donutlab.com. The DonutOS software platform is available for those in the GIP program today, and general availability is in the first half of next year. And by the way, it's free. DonutOS will be completely free for you to come, sign up, start using, building, testing, validating, until you're at the point where you know what you're doing, you're ready to order the hardware. Of course, there will be some things like accelerated compute and other things that we will be ordering as paid services, but you can literally build your entire vehicle from the ground up and put it on a physical product for free. And we really believe that this will change the world of EVs. I didn't want to say one more thing, but I kind of said one more thing type of thing without saying one more thing. So we're not done yet. there's one more aspect that I want to highlight. And everything you've heard today is only the beginning. We have discussed today about the startup ecosystem and everything that's wrong there, everything that we are trying to help, especially in the EV startup ecosystem, to make it easier and faster for companies to be successful, both with our DonutOS operating system for building your vehicles, as well as all the things we are doing with our partners. But there's also another ecosystem that we are building in parallel, and that is the EV software ecosystem. Let me explain what I mean. So this here is our Donut platform. That means all the motors, all the battery packs, all the control units, the main compute unit of your vehicle, all the hardware that you can come to Donut Lab today and say that I want that and I want to buy it. This is our Donut platform that we have talked about in the beginning of the presentation. And on top of this, we have the DonutOS that we released today that kind of brings all of these hardware components together and helps you create a vehicle. But there's still a layer on top of DonutOS itself, and that is where the ecosystem will be built. That includes these types of things: integrations, cloud services, HMIs, mobile applications, 3D assets, libraries, components, even full-blown vehicle, reference vehicles that you can build. We are creating a marketplace within the DonutOS platform, and you can come and contribute. You can come and build your perfect traction control genius system that you have thought about, and you can then sell it or give it to the rest of the community. If you have created your remote control software for drones, you can come and integrate it to our platform. Or if you're building private cloud for EU Data Act to make sure that all the data from vehicles goes in the right places, come and integrate with us. Even if you don't have any existing technology, but you come up with the routine inside the platform, or you build a machine vision model that can help everybody in the industry, you will be able to come, contribute, and get paid a license fee for whatever you are building and providing to others. And we really hope that this will create a healthy ecosystem, almost like the app stores around mobile phones some 15 years ago. And this is really first in the world for EV technology. And so, on top of the software side, we are also partnering with hardware vendors who are building the best-in-class components, from camera modules to all the other things that you may want to use. So if you have some genius technology that would really be great fit for Donut platform, come and talk to us. If you're building anything innovative in EV space, whether software or hardware, we welcome you to join the revolution that we are heading with everything we're building today. And final thing, you should really, if you're here at Slush and you have the ticket, you come to the other side, come visit our booth. You can come and test drive your own digital twin 2.0 today and see if you can beat our software engineering team. All right. Thank you, everyone. That's Donut Lab.